it's like, is it too much to ask for a brother just to have like a good week with no like problems? Apparently it's not. What's up, gentlemen? Welcome back to the vlogish like thing that I'm doing. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing, but you guys like it when I take you with me. And so today I'm taking you with me. You missed it. I went and got a haircut. And it was good. My hair was crazy. Why didn't you guys tell me? Actually, you did tell me. That's the beautiful thing about the internet. You tell me when you don't like something. Anyway, my hair was crazy. I finally got it cut. The salon is doing well. Let me start there. The salon. I don't talk about the salon all that much. It's doing really well. The salon is incredibly successful. In terms of like salons, it's in probably like the top 1% of successful salons in terms of revenue. We do really well. I really don't have anything to do with it other than owning the building and owning, part of the business. I really don't have anything to do with it on a day-to-day operation. Ever since like Steven passed away, it's really been Courtney and Tony, my other partners in the business, that have really kind of just like handled it. And so they've done such an amazing job. And that's one of the things, like, great partners allow you to do better than if you were by yourself. And this is a perfect example of that. If I didn't have Courtney and Tony, I wouldn't have the salon. Like, it wouldn't be still going. Courtney is the manager. Tony handles basically the books and all the accounting and all of just the numbers. And they together do an amazing job. And so it's just very, very fortunate. I feel very, very fortunate that they're my partners so that we can keep the salon going. It was weird after Steven died. Honestly, it's still, to this day, a little bit, it's just weird. It just has this like air of heaviness to it. And without him around, I just feel, like it's, I don't know. The whole reason why I did that salon in the first place was because of my friendship, with Steven and wanting to help him and all that. And it's hard. Whenever you lose somebody, it's very hard, but especially like in a business environment and situation, it's weird and it's hard and it's just, an unfortunate thing that happened. But, as a business, the salon is doing, incredibly well. And so I'm really proud of Courtney and Tony and everybody who works there. It's great to be able to go in there and just see, what's happening and see just, the success. See I get text messages from people, that have visited and been like, oh my God, the salon was amazing. And, it's great. I'm thinking to myself, like, thank you. Like, that feels good, but I don't have like anything to do with it. Something I do have something to do with is Pete and Pedro. And ooh, baby, your boy just fucked something up. I'm just saying, it could potentially be effed up. We got 22 months to figure it out, but here's the deal. All right, I'm gonna tell you about a business problem that we're facing, and I'm just like, seriously? Like, seriously? Like, seriously? Seriously? If you expect to be in business, you better expect problems to happen. They're gonna happen regardless of how much you plan, how much you prepare, how much whatever, you're gonna have them. And we got one that could be incredibly detrimental to our business. It's all about control. Let me actually run over here to grab a control. Matt, toss me a control, amigo. All right, so you guys have maybe heard of this, maybe you haven't. All right, it's our dandruff shampoo. It's called Control. All right, this shampoo is the best dandruff shampoo on the market. How do I know? How can I say that? Because it is the only dandruff shampoo left on the market that has an active ingredient called coal tar. Coal tar is the only thing that has ever stopped and literally like cured my dandruff. So I first found out about coal tar basically when I was having a dandruff issue. My whole life I've had dandruff, and it's been one of those like big like insecurity things for me. I tried Head and Shoulders, I tried Selsun Blue, I tried Nizoral, I tried them all. But then I found a product called, what was it? Neutrogena T-Gel. It was brown, it was funky, it smelled nasty, but it cured my dandruff, and I never had dandruff again. And so when I decided to come out with the dandruff shampoo, it was like the only ingredient that I knew had to be in there. Well, long story short, nobody sells coal tar shampoo anymore. We do. And so we ended up having to change labs, and the lab was having a difficult time sourcing the ingredient. This was about a year ago. And so we ran out of inventory. Inventory, when you run out, or products when you run out, it sucks because you want to keep selling. You want to take people's money. At the time that we basically sold out of this, we were selling about 1,000 to 1,500 units a month, which is significant. All right, but we were out for like 8 months. I mean, it was a long time. We were working with the new lab. They were having a difficult time getting the ingredient. We had to fly it over from overseas, like over in Europe. Long story short, it took us a year from start to finish before we actually had the product. And then we had to like reformulate it because it smelled a little bit too much like coal tar, which isn't the most pleasant aroma, but we changed it, we reformulated, we added more menthol, more mint, and long story short, we nailed it. Now, it does smell like coal tar. You smell it and you're gonna be like, yeah, that smells a little bit funky, but it's minty and it works. Like, honestly, all the dandruff shampoos smell a little bit funky. But anyway, so we end up, and the whole thing when it comes to inventory, you wanna have enough inventory that you don't run out, but you don't want too much. Dead dollar bills. Everything you see sitting on these shelves, dead dollar bills until I sell through, and then I get the money back, and then I can use it, deploy it, buy more inventory, pay the light bill, give bonuses, raises, hire employees, all that stuff. You need profit. You need to be able to sell it in order to use the money. So anyway, so we place an order, we get the order, but then we're thinking, all right, well, we don't know exactly how long this order is gonna take. Last year, it literally took like a year. And so we're like, all right, let's order a little bit early, even though we weren't sold out, and let's order a little bit more than we would, just in case, because we didn't want to run out again. It was really devastating for us to run out. So we ended up ordering, I think it was 12,000 units. Long story short, the stuff has an expiration date, all right? The inventory that we have will expire in 22 months. But here's the problem. We've got 24 months worth of inventory based on how much we sell on a monthly basis. And so what does this mean? This means that if I don't sell all this product in 22 months, and if we go historic data and how much we've been selling every single month, I literally could lose or have to throw out 2,000 units. And the other reality is that this is a very expensive product. It's an OTC product is what they call it. It's got drug facts on it. And so each bottle of this basically costs me $10. It's one of our most expensive products to manufacture, but it works and it's literally the best shampoo on the market. So once we realize that we are over indexed on this product, we've got too much by 2,000 units, we started thinking, what are we gonna do, all right? And the idea is that I just need to sell 2,000 of these and just get my money back. I'm not even trying to make a profit. And so once we realized what we were doing or what we had or the problem that we potentially had, knowing that, okay, we've got 22 months to solve this problem, I didn't wanna wait that long. And so what we ended up deciding to do is offer a deal to people that have already bought this product and love it. I will also include you guys in this deal if you want to grab it, all right? There's going to be a special link down below, all right? You got to go through the link, but if you are somebody that wants the best dandruff shampoo or you already use this, here's the deal. You're going to get 2 for $20. Basically, I'm giving them to you at my cost. Or if you want to buy 4, you're getting it for $35, below my cost. Why? Because I need to basically get rid of 2,000 of these sooner rather than later. It's a problem because, like I said, if we don't sell through this, I've got to literally throw out 2,000 units. Guys, when it comes to inventory, when it comes to the dollar bill sitting on the shelf, it's a fine line of having too much and not having enough. When it comes to inventory, guys, there's a balancing act that needs to happen. It's like a dance. You don't want too much, but you don't want too little. And honestly, if I were you, I would err on the side of too little and potentially selling out if things go really well, as opposed to over ordering when you're not sure what the demand is. Everybody, when they start a business, they think, oh, it's gonna crush it. And then you launch it and you're like, oh wait, now I gotta figure out marketing. Guys, marketing is the #1 thing you've gotta figure out when it comes to selling anything. Whether or not it's a digital service, whether or not it's a hair salon or whether or not it is a, a direct-to-consumer company and a brand. You've got to figure out the marketing. And so personally, I would err on the side of order less. And if you sell out, all right, not the end of the world. It sucks, but you can recover. A lot easier than if you over order, you never sell it, or it expires and you've got to toss it. And so this is just something that we realized yesterday when we actually looked at inventory, we looked at the numbers, we looked at trajectory in terms of sales. And so we're trying to right now scramble and figure out how do we move 2,000 of these units, which is not like a top selling SKU. Like I said, we move about 1,000 a month. Right now we've got 24,000 units in stock, but we've got 22 months worth of runway because it will expire. And so you just got to be careful, and you got to make sure that you really just protect your capital. Because like I said, those little dollar bills sitting on the shelf, if they sit there or you got to throw them out, it is literally like wasting money lighting it on fire. Gentlemen, if you want to grab the deal, 2 for 20 or 4 for 35, I've got that special link down below. If you want to hook a brother up and help us out at Pete and Pedro, we would love it. Speaking of help, now I'd like to get to your business questions. And before I forget, if you have a business question or a question in general about me or business or life or my opinion on something, down below, start it with question and ask it. The first question came from one of our friends, wanted to know about my sunglasses that I got. All right, the brand is Ray-Ban. I got these the other week when I was on the vlog, the day in the life. That was fun, and it was fun shopping. And anyway, the style is called Bill, B-I-L-L, and the size, because you wanted to know, is 56, 14, 145. Hopefully you dig them as much as I do. These are badass sunglasses. Anyway, something else that's badass is your questions. So why don't we get to more of those? All right. So, did you guys like this? If you like these videos, why don't you give me a little bit of love and drop the video one of these to be like, yo, Alf, I kind of dig it. All right. So the next business question. All right. Lots of people liking the day in the life. I like the vlogs too. Okay. Business question. Colossus Fitness says, I know you previously mentioned the tougher climate and the challenges with scaling revenue and profitability back to prior levels. Profitability back to prior levels. Okay, I'm in a similar position and would love to hear which organic strategies outside of paid efforts have been most effective for you. So organic marketing. All right, so one of the things that we are investing in at Pete and Pedro in terms of like organic non-paid is TikTok. I still think that TikTok is just going to keep exploding, get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's going to be like a mini Amazon. Now, the good news is that it just takes you doing video, putting it out there, or if you want to take it to the next level, send people the products, right? You allow, you set up a shop in TikTok, and you basically will allow creators, or you can seek out creators to give them a free sample, and then they have to, literally, like if you request the free sample and you get it, you have to, within like 12 days, post a video about that product, tagging it or linking it. And the beautiful thing with TikTok, the way that it works is you do this enough, like right now we're sending out at Pete and Pedro about 600 sea salt sprays for free every single month. Now, it costs you the cost of the product. It also will cost you some commission, but it's a great way to basically test a lot of creative and also get your product out there. And the more you do this consistently, there's something called GMV Max, where if you are spending money trying to advertise through TikTok, it's going to be testing all of these other videos that have tested or tagged your product to find a winner. And when you do find a winner, it's going to keep showing it. It's going to make sales. The person is going to make a commission. And that's one of the ways that we blew up the Stubble Buddy during the holiday season. It was crazy. This one guy though, he basically made like $20,000 of commission from Stubble Buddies because he kept posting videos. They were doing well. TikTok, the algorithm was taking them. They were going viral. We were spending money. It was amazing. But TikTok, I think, is still an incredible organic option, but it does cost you sending free product to these people. But you doing video and content yourself, it doesn't cost anything. It just takes your time. And so I do believe that TikTok is still a lot of opportunity to crush it there. The next business question comes from our friend RJWLO Darwaki, I'm butchering this name, 1583 says, Alpha, why doesn't Tiege Hanley sell body wash anymore? Thanks. So again, like we talked about earlier, you've got to think about it from a dollar bill perspective. With Tiege Hanley, we basically ordered a bunch of body wash. We ordered like 5 different, scents or 4 different scents, 2 different sizes. It was a huge mistake. And we had at the time, I believe it was like $500,000 worth of body wash inventory that it took us forever to get rid of it. And body wash, it's just not one of those things that we decided to like keep selling. Even like our number one like selling fragrance, we just decided, you know what, it's not going to move the needle. If we can't make an incremental like $250,000 for a product, we're not even going to mess with it, even though it was a great product. Deodorant was another one of those things. Some of the powders, the bar soap, like Tiege Hanley has had a lot of products that did fairly well, like lip balm and all that, but it really boils down to how much money are you going to tie up in inventory? And how are you really going to structure your business? And so for us, it was just, once again, one of those things where it just doesn't make financial sense, even though people like the product. It just wasn't a big enough revenue generator in order to justify the expense of carrying inventory. Because if you're not selling through it quickly, it's just going to sit on the shelf. And we had body wash forever. Like I remember like every quarterly meeting for like 3 years, you're looking at, okay, where are all the cost of goods like sitting, and it was always like, okay, we got way too much body wash. We did deals, we tried to give it away, we did bundles, we did everything to move that shit out. So even though it was awesome, it had to go. The next business question comes from our friend JGJ4430. He says, thoughts on the rise of EN shiftification, term definition by Corey, with everything that is microchip eventually moving to a perpetual subscription model while reducing feature perks. It's revamping tech space. I don't know even where to start with this. I have never heard this term. I have no idea. I'm going to look into it, but I don't even have an educated guess to answer this, and I don't want to sound even more ignorant than I already do. So I'm not sure. I'll look into it though. Next business question. Joe Morris says, have you been thinking about adding a subscription option for Pete and Pedro? Yo, we have one. What are you talking about? We've got one. We've got a great one. We've got a subscription on Amazon. We've got a subscription on Pete and Pedro. You just got to go, subscribe and save, brother. I think it would, yeah, we've got it. And we do really well with it. And anytime you can get somebody on a subscription, that's the money, right? Even if you're giving them a little bit of a deal or free shipping or whatever it is, you know that they're going to be buying again. The hardest thing is to get a customer one time. And then one of the other realities that we found out at Pete and Pedro when we started to really look at the numbers, like you think that your customer is coming back all the time to buy 3 times. The average customer for Pete and Pedro shops 3 times a year. So if we can get them back every 2 months or every 3 months, just to increase the amount that they're buying and the frequency, the better off you're going to do. And a subscription is one of those things where we started early. Even if you go back to my Shark Tank episode, when I was on there, I talked about the Bueno Hair Club, where it was, when I started, it was all about getting people on a monthly subscription for their hair product. But we still have it. Regardless of what you want, we got you. So it's there. You just need to look for it. Sign up. Seriously, go do it. The next business question. Hold on. Let me get to it. Where are we? There we are. Dave wants to know about the AI specifics for Tiege Hanley. Can you expand on how? Yes. I'll expand on that later once I know more. Once again, I just don't know enough about all the nuances behind what we're doing in order to really speak educatedly or intelligently on it. So I'm gonna hold off for a second on that, but I will get back to that once I learn more. Let's see, business question comes from Stay Cold Frank. He says, I'm starting a construction management consulting business as a side gig. I just landed my first project. Should I set up an LLC now or wait until I get a few more clients? I would set up your LLC now. It doesn't cost all that much, and it's something good to have. Because honestly, like the sooner you set it up and you get, the documentation all done, you'll be able to write off and expense certain things. And so I would definitely do the legwork now and assume that you're going to be successful and get more clients in the future. You also are going to need that in order to get like a company bank account or, any of these other things. It doesn't take long. You're going to need an EIN number, a tax ID number. You're going to need to, get your articles of organization, and ChatGPT can help you create everything. You could just search like, hey, I live in X state. I want to set up an LLC. What's the process? You got to make sure that the name that you're picking is not already taken. And it's super simple. Like if I can do it, you can do it. But let's see. Okay, next question, last question. My God, I need business questions. If you expect me to answer, you need to ask, people. The next business question or last business question comes from our friend Fox Miller 2029. How do you find a good accountant to help you with your finances? There are some accountants that will scam you if you're not careful. From your experience, how did you find your accountant and made sure that you didn't get scammed? It was a referral. And that's something that I would say you need to start asking. Regardless of what professional service, referrals are probably the best way to just kind of vet somebody. And so I get people all the time that I know that are reaching out to me in the entrepreneurial space or the business world. They'll ask me about my accountant, like, hey, who do you use? And so my accountant now does a lot of internet people. He does a lot of, social media people. And it's simply because, when he started with me, it was a referral from a friend of mine who I basically said, hey, do you have a recommendation for an accountant? He's like, yeah, I know somebody from Rotary. His name is Keith, blah, blah, blah. I got connected. And then Keith and I have kind of grown up together and learned, because a lot of the laws, a lot of the things that, you're able to do now are very different than when we started, because it was internet-based businesses. And it was just it was a different world. And so everything that we've kind of learned over the years has been kind of a collaboration. Even as far as setting up my defined benefits plan for what I do. That was something else that I basically went and I met with a second attorney or a second accountant, because I just wanted to get a second opinion. And he was talking about, oh, you need to set up a defined benefits. At the time, I didn't know what it was. So I asked Keith, he looked into it. And then he ended up, doing the due diligence. But, it's been a great relationship, and you just need to make sure that, like I said, how are you going to get scammed? I don't know how are you getting scammed? That's the thing. You're only I've never heard of somebody getting scammed from an accountant. I guess, you want an accountant that will do a good job, keep you legal, give you good advice, help you not overpay if you don't need to. But yeah, a good accountant is literally whatever you pay them, it's worth it. Because the idea is that they are going to save you in the long run, and they're also going to help you basically answer questions. And so my accountant, Keith, I call him almost weekly. Hey, I got a question about this, or oh, what about this? Or hey, how should I expense this? And so I'm telling you, a great accountant is one of those people that you need on your side if you're going to be in business for yourself, or you're having a side hustle, or you're doing anything. A great accountant is amazing. And that is where I'm going to wrap things up. Speaking of amazing, you're looking good today. What's different about you? Did you get your hair cut? New glasses? What is it? I'm serious. You're amazing. You look awesome. Thank you for being here. And next week, who knows what kind of fun we're going to get into, and who knows what type of problem I'm going to have. But I promise you something. I will have one, because as a business owner, you always do.